Welcome to the summer edition of the Webster Insider, coming to you from Media Commons in Sverdrup Hall, home of the School of Communications. I'm Lauren Brennicke.
And I'm Carla Vasquez Mejia. It's graduation season, and at Webster, more than 3,800 students from the home campus and around the world will don caps and gowns for the big day. You may be interested to know that this year's class includes Thomas Purcell, who is getting his master's in human services. At 80 years old, he is the oldest among the graduates. On the other end, 18-year-old Solomon Hall, a game and game design major, is the youngest.
Graduates hail from 49 states, including Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico, and represent 99 countries. Webster Insider's Kennedy Moore joins us with her report. Kennedy?
Thank you, Lauren. While it's a bittersweet time for most students, graduation is also an exciting time as seniors think ahead to what's next. Without a doubt, faculty and staff create lasting bonds with students. So, when it comes time to say goodbye, it can be difficult.
I always hope that we have made an impact for them and given them a launching pad to their great future. And I always hope that it's not goodbye, it's just until next time.
Leading up to graduation, journalism major Michael Barnes had to manage a pretty full schedule. In addition to academics, she also has had to devote time to being on the track team and more.
I've been navigating schoolwork, practice, track meets. I also have a job on campus, so sometimes it can be a lot with my schedule, but I'm really glad that I did all of that because it definitely made me the person that I am today and equipped me to be going on to the bigger things.
It's important for seniors to stay ahead and have their post-graduation plans already figured out. Those we've spoken with have had plenty of time to prepare and think about their next move.
Oh, of course. This is a kind of hard question, to be honest with you, that's what I'm working on right now because I am close to graduate. And of course, after graduation, everybody has to decide what they have to do for their future. So most probably, I'm going to start some kind of business.
While their time at Webster may have had its ups and downs, graduates agree they've had many meaningful and memorable moments. And Chancellor Strobel wants them to know what's most important is for them to always strive to be at their best.
That it's important as an individual to do your very best, to be individually excellent as a person, as a professional, as a person of character and commitment, and also to see themselves as global citizens, people who care about the common bond we have with humanity, people we know and people we don't know, and want to make the world a better place.
For the Webster Insider, I'm Kennedy Moore.
Many colleges and universities are banning TikTok on their campus Wi-Fi due to security concerns. But students can't seem to get enough of it, with many of them even using the platform for homework. Webster Insider's Pepa Marzan Fernandez has the story.
Carla, when TikTok launched worldwide in 2016, its popularity skyrocketed, in particular among the Gen Z crowd, who likes the entertaining videos, bite-sized content, and information on cultural trends.
The digital publication, Intelligent, surveyed 1,000 current students and their use of TikTok as an academic resource. Results show 51% of them have used TikTok for help with homeworks, and more than half of users say they learn more on TikTok than they do in their classes.
What I think is most interesting about TikTok is that we are now very used to getting information in short clips, in short, well-edited, entertaining video clips. So it makes me nervous that maybe we will never consume information in a different way now that we are used to this.
Yeah. Although Google has been the search engine of choice for most people, 58% of college students say they prefer using TikTok when it comes to doing schoolwork. It's a trend Smith warns about.
When I do workshops with high school students, typically I tell them that TikTok is great for entertainment but bad for knowledge. And the reason for that is that anybody can post anything on TikTok and slap a hashtag on there, and then it'll suddenly show up in search results.
At Webster, there is no TikTok ban. We ask students who use it whether they consider other options for doing homework or research.
I think it depends. If you're searching for like trending, like what's going on, like for the get up or outfit, because I usually go for the TikTok just to see what's the new trending going on and what's going on, but like I don't usually trust, like fully trust, because there is Google and something else to research.
I would choose TikTok over the library or Google because it's faster. And it's faster to look up what you need. And then if I don't find it, then I'll go to Google and then I'll go to the library. And it's also visual, which works better for me. I need to see somebody talking to me or like images and then people talking to me while I see the images. Because if it's just reading, at some point I zone out and I am not there anymore. I am somewhere else.
Despite its popularity, media literacy experts like Smith believe dependence on TikTok will have important consequences in the long term.
All of us are interested in getting information in the easiest way possible, but that doesn't always mean that it's accurate or reliable or meaningful or true.
We live in a digital era where anyone can upload something on a platform like TikTok with the possibility of going viral for everyone to consume. Nowadays, with easy access to social media, it is normal that many people prefer easy and convenient over complicated. For the Webster Insider, I am Pepa Martán Fernández.
St. Louis Repertory Theater recently concluded its season on a high note with Murder on the Orient Express, based on the Agatha Christie classic. As Webster Insider's Maddie Zucchi tells us, the show had a successful run at the Loretto Hilton Center with the help of conservatory students.
With a new lineup of shows at the Rep every season, there's a good chance you'll see a familiar face on stage during any given performance. You may recognize a professional local actor or even an aspiring student performer from Webster. The Rep has been producing shows for almost 60 years, many of them with the help of students from Webster University's Conservatory of Theater Arts.
They also are able to be part of our shows, either as understudies, ensemble, or in some cases, actual principal roles in the show.
Each of us had very minor ensemble roles because Murder on the Orient Express isn't like, I wouldn't call it an ensemble heavy show. But there was a scene at the beginning at a hotel. And so a couple of us played servers. I played a male waiter, actually, which was very fun for me.
In addition to having opportunities to be on stage, students also learn from the Rep's directors, designers, and other professional staff. From access to sets, costumes, and lighting, to being able to perform on stage, the St. Louis Repertory Theater sets the stage for a world of opportunities for Webster University students.
I mean, any actor will tell you, like, understudying can be some of like the best experience just to work with professional theaters and to understand how the professional process works.
The Rep recently announced that the lineup for its new season that begins this fall. The shows range from the 2022 Tony Award winner for Best Play, The Lehman Trilogy, to a musical tribute to Whitney Houston. Back to you.
Thank you, Maddie. Every year, a number of music students get an opportunity to compose original work and perform in concert alongside professional musicians. Webster Insider's Lonnie Walton joins us with more. Lonnie?
The program is called Wet Ink. It's a collaboration between Webster University's music department and the String Quartet Chamber Project St. Louis. The entire process started in the fall semester with the goal of producing a concert with new works. Students began working alongside professional musicians from the Chamber Project, this year's ensemble in residence at the music department. Students submitted their own composition and received extensive feedback from the musicians about their work.
One of the really special things about the Wet Ink project is that when these students finish their 4-year undergraduate degree, they will have had 4 opportunities to work with professional ensembles, to give feedback to those ensembles performing their music, and they have recordings and, of course, the works themselves. So this is an opportunity that gives our students an advantage kind of with their portfolio of works once they leave Webster.
I think it's also really helpful for young musicians to see how professional musicians work. Mm-hmm. Like, what was it about their music that was hard? What was easy for the musicians? Like, just to have that feedback in a rehearsal situation to just witness.
And the experience was not only fun for the students, it also gave them the chance to find their musical identity.
just getting immediate feedback from what I've written and getting validation for my ideas that could kind of like stretch me and allow me to grow.
So they don't all sound like their teachers. They don't all sound the same. They're clearly being cultivated and very consciously about like, what is your style?
Wet Ink features a different ensemble in residence every year. Last year, it was Hinter and McKellen, a guitar duo. The year before that was a group of saxophone players from Chicago called Fused Quartet. Students this year concluded the project by having one final public performance in late April. Now, equipped with experience and a wealth of knowledge, they are able to consider many options after graduation.
I've got a few gigs lined up, which is I'm really lucky, and writing for other ensembles and hoping I can just make my way, building relationships and growing from there.
For the Webster Insider, I'm Lonnie Walton.
Lots going on these days at the music department, where student recitals also just wrapped up for the semester. Reporter Josh Wright recently spent some time behind the scenes, and he's here to tell us all about it. Josh?
Carla, I got to know jazz senior Samuel Luetkemeyer and learned more about the preparation that goes into putting together your very own recital. A live performance for a fully packed room of family, friends, and faculty. But Luetkemeyer's journey to get here started back in December when he signed up for a recital. For many Webster music students, recitals are required in their degree program, and while that wasn't the case for Luetkemeyer, he decided to give it a go anyway.
I think my main takeaway from putting this recital together is it's given me a deep appreciation for the process of putting things together, but also an appreciation just for, music in general. I've been to enough jazz recitals and music recitals to look at them and say, if they can do it, I could give that a try.
With a recital date set in April, Luetkemeyer had 4 months to put together a set list, a band, and rehearse. He spent much of that time deciding on the music and practicing with his instructor, Carol Beth True. Putting together a show like this comes with a lot of hurdles. For one, Luetkemeyer didn't settle on his set list until near spring break, and even still, he felt like something was missing.
The last decision I made for my recital program was Pure Imagination as like a prologue for the show. That was last Wednesday, so 13 days before the recital. I grew up on Willy Wonka, so that song was close enough to me to like be special to me, but also close enough that I kind of got used to it.
After establishing the set list, the group still had to prepare, marking what Luetkemeyer calls the biggest challenge throughout this process, getting everyone together for rehearsals.
One of the cool things about being here at Webster is that there are so many talented musicians. The challenging thing is that they all have their own schedules.
Not surprising, recitals often come with a lot of unexpected obstacles. For Luetkemeyer, one came just 4 days before his performance when he had to cancel a rehearsal last minute due to a tornado watch. But it's all worth it to make it here, recital day.
It's a great feeling because all the work you've put into it for so long and they've put into it, you get to sit back and just listen. So it's really a wonderful thing. That's why we're here.
I am feeling just a lot of gratitude for the people I get to play with, the people who showed up. It's really special, and I don't want to take it for granted.
While recitals have wrapped up for the semester, the music program is gearing up for a series of summer camps for jazz, classical piano, and songwriting. From the Webster Insider, I'm Josh Wright.
A highly unusual event took place in the neighborhood last month when the Webster Groves Masonic Temple opened its doors to the public. The imposing building, completed 100 years ago in the spring of 1923, sits adjacent to Webster Grove City Hall on Lockwood Avenue. The gathering on April 16th marked the building's centennial, as well as its rededication as a historic property.
This one is unique. I don't think I've done a 100th anniversary yet of a building, and it is great to be a part of it.
The day was an opportunity to connect with the community and introduce the public to the inner workings of Freemasonry.
We have modes of recognition where we can recognize each other and tell whether they really are or whether they're pretending to be. That's the only secrets really we have. We're not a secret society. If we were, we wouldn't have our names on our buildings, we wouldn't wear our pins, we wouldn't identify ourselves as such.
The building was previously a residence and has since grown in both square footage and enterprise. A highlight of the day was revealing the contents from a time capsule buried on the site in 1963. The time capsule, which will be refilled with current items and placed inside the cornerstone of the building, contained newspaper clippings, coins, and documents about the renovation of the lodge. The event also included Masons taking part in a ritual, the same one that was performed when the building was first designated 100 years ago. The Freemasons plan to unearth the time capsule again in 60 years. Elsewhere in St. Louis, tens of thousands packed the streets during the weekend Cinco de Mayo festival on Cherokee Street.
The annual event, the biggest of its kind in the St. Louis region, gives immigrant-owned small businesses a much-needed boost this time of the year.
The day commemorates an 1862 battle when the people of Puebla defeated the French. In the U.S., the unofficial holiday has gained some notoriety over the years, not only as a celebration of Mexican culture, but also a time to take to the streets and party.
Normalmente nos preparamos, como muchos clientes vienen, como las margaritas, las micheladas, bastante comida como burritos, chimichangas, guacamole se prepara bastante porque mucha gente lo pide.
Aside from the large-scale preparations, the effect of this yearly celebration are significant for the Latino businesses on another level.
Yo pienso que aquí se vende bien los negocios, a todos se ayuda aquí. Y pues a todos les va bien el 5 de mayo, porque te digo, viene mucha gente americano, mexicano, hispano, de toda la clase de gente hay aquí. Y se divierten sobre todo.
Se da a conocer más, gente viene de diferentes partes del área, de horas hasta a veces también.
Mexican culture has also gained more awareness and appreciation due to Cinco de Mayo.
Vienen muchas personas a comer. Si les gusta la comida, van pasando la voz que está buena la comida, que vienen aquí.
Muchas de las veces hay gente que de diferentes nacionalidades que vienen y prueban la gastronomía mexicana y les gusta y siguen viniendo y empiezan a interesarse por la cultura, cuál es el festejo que se celebra.
More than 100 vendors participated in this year's event, which also had live music, lucha libre wrestling, a parade, and more. Well, did you grow up playing soccer? Many people here in St. Louis did.
A new exhibit at the Missouri History Museum shows us the city's deep-rooted connection with the game.
When you step inside the Soccer City exhibit at the Missouri History Museum, it immediately makes a connection, no matter where you're from or what your background is.
I've often been asked, what are your favorite parts of this exhibit? I think as soon as you enter, you see an intro wall that has a single quote, St. Louis is a true soccer city. And I would agree, no truer words have been spoken. I think that's the whole purpose for this exhibit. But what's amazing about that wall is that quote has been translated into 19 different languages, starting with some very historic languages like Italian and Irish, which harkens back to the very earliest immigrant groups that came to St. Louis. And when they came to St. Louis, what they could bring with them was their culture. And the culture included their sport, which we call soccer.
Another part of the exhibit shows a map of all the places soccer was historically played or currently has a presence within the city. There are also images demonstrating how soccer grew through the neighborhoods and even a book where visitors can write and share their own personal memories of playing the game.
That to me is really cool because I think if you grew up here and you watch soccer over the years, you'll find something that will trigger a memory. And that's what this is really all about.
Growing up in St. Louis, Webster University's goalie Jacob Cleavorn says that soccer was just the thing to do. Kids as young as 3 years old get fully immersed in the sport, and they'll play for their CYC leagues or club teams all the way up to their college or amateur careers. And they practice and play facilities such as this, here at the Worldwide Technology Soccer Park in Fenton.
So kind of how I got into soccer was basically from my parents. My parents were huge soccer players, played collegiate soccer themselves, so it just kind of put me into it. And once I started playing, it really fell in love with the game and just the atmosphere around. And like you said, in St. Louis, just being in St. Louis, you kind of have to play soccer. It's kind of one of those things. So just growing up around so many soccer people, it just pushed me to love the game.
I think there's just so much to now look forward to as soccer moves in through the 21st century. And we've got City SC now as an MLS expansion team that I think has put St. Louis on a map in a big way.
Overall, 150 years of soccer in St. Louis is told through artifacts such as jerseys, cleats, trophies, photos and videos, as well as items from the new St. Louis City SC team.
Look at the names on these jerseys, and every single one of them is a St. Louisan who lived here maybe all of their life, or sometimes just for a little while. But they claim St. Louis to some extent in their blood, in the training that they had, if they just came for college and then went on. But they are here. And that to me says something about that true soccer city.
Soccer City at the Missouri History Museum is free and open to the public. The exhibit runs through February 18, 2024. Carla, back to you.
Thank you, Caitlin. The St. Louis region's #1 destination, the St. Louis Zoo, is gearing up for another busy summer.
That's right, and one of its most popular attractions is celebrating a big anniversary this year. Webster Insider's Carl Moore is here with the story. Carl?
Thank you, Lauren. When it opened in 1963, it only cost 30 cents to ride the Zoo Line Railroad. 60 years later, the trains has transported more than 41 million visitors at the zoo. The St. Louis Zoo is a leader when it comes to animal care, wildlife conservation, research, and education.
The zoo has been home to over 16,000 animals and nearly 500 species. But today it's not about the animals. It's about the new electric train named after Mary Meacham.
The Mary Meacham is the zoo's first electric train and the first to be named after a woman. Mary Meacham is an abolitionist in St. Louis in the mid-1800s, along with her husband, the Reverend John Berry Meacham. They helped educate free and enslaved black children in the basement of their church.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible, especially today, dedicating our train, naming it after such a brave, courageous, amazing woman such as Mary Meacham.
The Mary Meacham train was unveiled during Women's History Month in late March. On hand for the ceremony was retired university professor Angela De Silva, who says Mary Meacham left a legacy and an imprint.
And so I've gathered a lot of our history from one end of the state to the other. But I can tell you I had a lot. It's called a lot of names, had a lot of doors slammed down me, but it didn't stop me. Not at all. And I would tell perseverance, empathy is what, these are the things that got me through. Never lost sight of the goal. Our history needed to be gathered, it needed to be told. And when I perform in front of school children, that's the first thing they ask me. How did you get into this? And my grandmother was raised by her grandmother, who had been a slave.
Just like the woman it's named after, the new train is blazing a trail of its own. The zoo plans to eventually replace its 6 other locomotives with more environmentally friendly electric trains.
I hope when people see the name on that train, they will think, I wonder who that is. And they'll go and they'll look that name up and they'll do some research. Like I tell my kids, Google it. And they will see, wow, we never knew what an incredible impact that a black woman had on Missouri.
For the Webster Insider, I'm Carl Moore.
All year long, a celebration is taking place in Midtown to mark the 50th anniversary of hip-hop.
The Kranzberg Arts Foundation and Grand Center is hosting a series of events to commemorate this musical milestone. Webster Insider's Gerald Burton has our report. Gerald?
The name of the series is Elemental, a nod to the 4 elements of hip-hop: DJing, MCing, breakdancing, and graffiti. I recently spoke with artists and event organizers about the many generations of hip-hop and its cultural influences through the years.
Elemental is a series of events planned to celebrate hip-hop's milestone anniversary and to bridge generations of audiences. It also helps to further shed light on the growth of the art and how it's been an essential part of connecting urban communities.
Know your past in order to know your future. There's so many lessons that you can glean, and if you're at all interested in the arts, it's important that you connect with the source, right? And so that's a large part in what we're doing in curating the series.
Breakdancer Jason Jackson believes the event has been beneficial to helping young fans of hip-hop express their creativity.
It just gives people the outlet, to do like what they love, which is like, hip-hop.
So as the series continues to grow, as we as an organization continue to grow, I hope that that's a huge part of our focus, is connecting past with future, connecting community with happenings and events, and building community. I think that's how it happens.
Hip-hop has influenced our lives for many generations, from the way we walk, talk, dress, and create vivid art. The Elemental series has worked to highlight the bridging of various communities and cultures by way of hip-hop and its many branches. For the Webster Insider, I'm Gerald Burton.
In all, Elemental will feature a total of 50 events through the end of the year, including concerts, art installations, and parties. Visit the Kranzberg Arts Foundation website to learn more. Certainly plenty of things to keep everyone busy and entertained this summer. Don't you agree?
I absolutely do. Well, that concludes this edition of the Webster Insider. I'm Carla Vasquez Mejia.
And I'm Lauren Brennicke. Thank you for watching, have a safe summer, and we'll see you back here in the fall.